Hello friends, my name's Emile and welcome back to some more Gran Turismo 2. Today we're continuing on with our Let's Play and this is episode 26, and in today's episode we are going to be finishing off the final rally events left to do. That is the Pikes Peak Hill Climb and the Pikes Peak Downhill. For that we need a Pikes Peak car, and luckily for us we have one in stock. We have our trusty Escudo Pikes Peak version. Now this vehicle we used in a previous episode. Normally I try not to use a vehicle more than once, however, you'll quickly see why I am selecting the Escudo shortly. Anyway, let's head over to the dirt events, and let's head over to the second page where we're going to be starting with the Pikes Peak Downhill. And in this we're going to go against a Peugeot 306, a Lancia Stratos, and a Lancia Evo 4. Okay, we are on track with our Lancia Suzuki Escudo going against a Peugeot 306 rally car. Now, you may be a bit confused as to why I've chosen the Escudo. You may be like, well, you're not exactly going against anything particularly threatening. It's not so much the downhill that has the threatening vehicles. However, the actual hill climb itself has some very, very nasty vehicles I have to go against, including, well, another Escudo. And the only way you could really beat an Escudo is by using an Escudo. And I also figured, because this is of course the Pikes Peak downhill climb, this is really where the Escudo is meant to belong. This is where this car should really be doing better than anyone else, and I figured I would use this particular car. Also, there's no vehicles I really want to particularly use for rallying at the moment, so yeah, figured we'd just pop in the Escudo again. And yeah, also I kind of wanted a nice sort of easy, you know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm scared of challenge or anything. I mean, admittedly I am slightly. Ooh, there we go, bit of an issue through there. But yeah, I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to do this like easy mode, but at the same time the last rally events have been absolute nightmares to get through, so I figured I'd give myself a little bit of a easier time on this particular event and just use the damn Escudo. You know, I mean, literally, figuratively speaking, these rally events actually have no horsepower limits on them, so technically I could have just used the Escudo the entire way through if I wanted to, so at least be happy I didn't do that, I guess. But no, I mean, I'm kind of debating it now. I really should have probably used like a normal rally car and then just switched to the Escudo for the last few races, but at the same time, nah. So there we go, we're down the hill climb in the Escudo. Pretty sloppy run there, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not too familiar with the Pikes Peak courses in this game. Never really spent too much time with them, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame because this is one of like the only games that actually features Pikes Peak. Anyways, I will see you in the next race. Okay, back at Pikes Peak, and our car we're going against now is a Lancia Stratos, which we actually went up against earlier on. I believe, I can't remember where we went up. I think it was Tahiti Dirt Road or something like that. Dirt Route, sorry, I believe it's called. Yeah, we went. Oh my god. Okay, the Escudo may be built for around here, but the Escudo certainly isn't the most stable car around here. In case you're wondering, setup is basically the same as I had done with the car in the GT All Stars. The only thing I've really changed is the gear ratios. I've just shortened them up a little bit because of course we are going down Pikes Peak. We don't need the super long gear ratios that I had in this thing for doing the straights on Red Rock Valley. Instead I can sort of just use these nice short gear ratios to get down this mountain quicker. Also, I'm using the automatic transmission still because bleh. And yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to finishing the dirt races off. To be honest with you, this has probably been one of the more stressful bits of the GT2 LP. I have not enjoyed these dirt races particularly much. Don't get me wrong, some of them are okay. It's just I don't think this game didn't particularly award you particularly well for that. Like, it didn't really give you much in the way of actual reason to do these events. I mean, it just was basically like, oh, you know, You can earn a bit of extra cash by doing the dirt events. They're pretty difficult. You don't get that much cash, and to be honest with you, well, more specifically, you don't actually get any prize cards, which is a shame. I'd kind of like to see it give like a rally car off, you know, every time you'd finished a particular section. So say you finished all of the Smoky Mountain South races, it'd give you a rally car. That'd be kind of cool. But unfortunately it doesn't, and you don't get one for completing all of the rally events either, in case you're wondering. So I'm not going to get anything special for finishing all these overall, in case you're wondering. Anyways, I will see you on the next race at the same place. Okay, we are back at the top of the Pikes Peak Hill course, and our final car for today was supposed to be an Evo 4, that's actually an Evo 6, in case you're wondering. It's actually a race-modified Evo 6 GSR, I believe. The only reason I know that is because in the last episode I drove the Evo 5, and I was actually looking at using the Evo 6, because I thought it had a different race mod on it, but it has that race mod, and I'm not a huge fan of the, because you can only get one type. It's that sort of black and red one, and I don't actually particularly like the look of it too much. So I decided to go with the Evo 5. There was one in the used car showroom. The Evo 5 just has the Puma paint job, which you saw on the Evo 5, and I prefer that paint job, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, that's why I went for that specific, that specific paint job. Anyways, there's apparently little crowds of spectators all over the hill climb here. Sorry, my throat is a little bit clogged up apparently at the moment. So yeah, there's apparently loads of little spectators around here. This is of course before Pikes Peak became a fully tarmac course. I can't remember when that was. It wasn't too long after this game came out. But yeah, this is now all tarmac. None of it's dirt anymore for safety reasons, I believe. Which, you know, I mean, Pikes Peak is one of those places I've always wanted to go, because I've always kind of liked the idea of it. I would never want to attempt it. I definitely wouldn't want to be a passenger in someone who was driving up here either. I mean, I don't care if it's bloody Sebastian Loeb himself who owns the current world record for going up the mountain. I still would not want to be the passenger to anyone who was actually driving up here. Anyways, that was a lot cleaner run than we got with the previous vehicles. 146.319 isn't, well, I can imagine it's actually a pretty terrible time down there, but compared to the 2 minutes I did in the, when I was versing against the S16, I don't think that's that bad. Anyways, we get 10,000 credits, and that is it for the downhill section of this course. Now it's time to switch the hill climbs themselves, which promise to be a little bit more challenging. Hopefully not too challenging that it gets me into a fit of rage, which would not be particularly wise. Anyways, there we go, Pikes Peak downhill done. Now we head to the Pikes Peak hill climb, and we're going to be going against an RS200 rally car, a Cultus Pikes Peak, and an Escudo's Pikes Peak. Yay. Okay, we are at the bottom of Pikes Peak, and we are ready to start climbing up it. I've got my Ford RS200 companion next to me, and unfortunately for you, Mr. RS200, we might blow you away a little bit. RS200, pretty cool car, especially in this game. I believe it has quite a decent amount of power in this game, from what I remember. It's not actually all that expensive, it's only 100,000 credits. Which isn't too bad for, well, I don't know if it actually comes with, like, dirt tyres and whatnot. Like, I don't know how much of a rally car it actually is. Like, I don't know if the game classes it as a race car or just an RS200, or maybe you can race mod it. I don't know. I never really played around with the RS200 too much, but I do know you can have a reasonable amount of power in it. So yeah, that's something interesting. It is stocked in the Ford lineup with all the rest of the Ford vehicles, save for the GT40 and some race cars. So I mean, that's pretty interesting that the RS200 rally car is actually stocked, you know, with Ford Pumas and Focuses and the Tauruses as well, which is a little bit weird, but that's apparently the way they've decided to do it, so I can't really fault them for it. Yeah, we've kind of blown the RS200 away. We were somewhat expecting it, admittedly. I mean, do you really expect the RS200 to stick to me all that much? But Yeah, the next two races I am a little bit worried about. The Cultus, not so much, because the Cultus is basically the Escudo with about 200 less horsepower, and no one really remembers it. The Escudo, on the other hand, that could be interesting, especially considering, unlike when I did the Tigra Ice Rally versus the other Tigra Ice Rally, that was on a track that kind of suited me more because it had more straights on it. This track is very curvy, so that could go a bit wrong for me. Either way, we have completed the first hill climb and beat the car by quite a bit. We're faster going up than down, which is something, and I get 5,000 credits. Okay, I will see you and see how we do against the Cultus. Okay, we are once again at the bottom of this hill, ready to climb up the top of it. I am joined by the Escudo's lesser known brother, the Cultus. It has a similarly magnificent wing on it, don't get me wrong. The Cultus is a cool car. I was tempted to actually use a Cultus earlier on in the series. For episode 25, I was actually torn between using the Evo 5 or the Cultus, and I ended up going with the Evo 5 just because I thought that would be a little bit easier, and also the Cultus is 2 million credits, and the Evo was about 300,000 once maxed out, so yeah, a lot cheaper, and it turns out it was more than adequate, save for maybe like that final Evo 5 race where it did struggle a little bit, but, or sorry, Evo 6 rally car race. It did struggle a little bit, but overall that car did pretty well, so I don't really need to use the Cultus, and I remember I bought it at some point in GT2 when I had it originally on PlayStation 1. I actually bought the Cultus because I was kind of like, I wonder how this thing compares to the Escudo. Turns out that vehicle actually, against the Escudo, it kind of sucks. Like, it isn't particularly great when you compare it to this vehicle here, which, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but yeah, I haven't really touched the Cultus since then, and I don't think it's actually been in any Gran Turismo game since then. The Escudo was the one that people recognised. It's become sort of almost a symbol for Gran Turismo at this point, and yeah, no one's really particularly torn up about the fact the Cultus doesn't really appear that much anymore. Either way, the Cultus indeed got blown away by my mighty Escudo, and yeah, we'll have to see how the Escudo fares against the Escudo. Although, judging by that run, I might be okay. I can't imagine the Escudo is that much quicker than the Cultus up here, so yeah, we might be alright. Either way, we get 25,000 credits, which is the most we've got from these rally races so far, so thank you for that. And time for Escudo, the other one. Okay, here we go. Escudo versus Escudo for our final rally event. Considering final event, I can imagine this one is going to be the hardest of the events. There we go, he gets a little bit better launch. I don't know, maybe the Escudo stock has slightly longer gears than this, potentially. A little bit messed up through that particular turn. He is just soaring away in his Escudo. Apparently he's oh my god! Okay. That was a hell of a twitch. This thing, it turns out, doesn't particularly get along on rally courses particularly well. I mean, sure, it is monstrously quick around them. It is monstrously quick around anywhere, but it doesn't handle quite as nicely as one would expect. Either way, through the corners, believe it or not, I am actually a little bit quicker than he is through the corners, that's why I'm actually catching him. It appears just actually slamming it into the walls is probably quicker than taking the corners normally, which is fair enough. Oh, there we go, that was a horrible smack on there. I do apologise, Escudo, but either way, we are past the other Escudo, and all you want to do is win. You don't particularly care if you get banged up or anything. I assume this car's all been reinforced for safety and all the rest of it. I mean, sure, it's a 90s car, but hey. This actually held the world record up here for a very, very long time, if I remember rightly. The only car that, well, it recently got beaten by the 208 driven by Sebastian Loeb, and I think even the 208 might have been beaten by some electric thing they sent up here not too long ago. But either way, that race was nowhere near as challenging as I was expecting to. Apparently this this episode has been first time for everything. I've beaten everything first time round, which is pretty cool. So there we go. Anyway, Escudo defeated for the Pikes Peak Hill Climb Championship thing, sure. Anyways, we get 25,000 credits, which is very good. And that, friends, is it for the rally events. That is it. They are all done. Only took 4 episodes. Took about 5 hours because the rally events are just stupid on this game. I hate them. But yes, that's that done. No more of that ever needs to be done ever again. So there you go, just to prove that, you know, all trophies in there, and how are we doing as far as completion is concerned? 3.37% complete, so we're doing pretty well so far. Anyways, friends, that is it for today's episode. In the next episode, we start on the meat and potatoes, I guess, of getting 100%, which is all of the one-make races. I think we're going to start in South City, and then progress west, then north, then finally east. So, join me for that. Anyways, friends, thank you all very much for watching. My name's been The Real Emile, and until next time, farewell.